Yo, what's going on, guys? KrispyFlakes here. So it appears that Carmelo Anthony's time with the Houston Rockets is officially going to be over with. So for today's video, I want to give you 7 perfect NBA teams that Melo should go to, guys. These are teams I think would be, I don't want to say like an amazing fit because Melo's no longer a superstar caliber player, but it would still be a team that he would be able to be his own self on there and maybe help them, win in the end scheme of things, which is what the NBA is all about, is winning games, right? So as far as Melo this season, what exactly is he doing out there? And Melo now a 78 overall in NBA 2K19. Absolutely horrendous, guys. It's just, I feel bad for the man out there. But looking at his stats, this season putting up 13 points, 5 rebounds per game, which is nice, man. The 5 rebounds is nice. Not really playing much defense out there. Shooting about 40% field goal percentage, which is right next to last NBA season. I will say this though, guys, like Melo's never really been a great field goal percentage person out there. He's always had pretty low numbers. Going back to his Denver days, he has some really good seasons there. But since joining like the Knicks, playing for OKC, and now the Houston Rockets, just not really a high percentage guy. But I think you have this to think about. When he's been playing with OKC and Houston, he's been like told how to play. He's not been allowed to play his style of play anymore. He's been asked to be like a spot up 3-point shooter and do things like that. So when you have a great scorer like Melo, really, man, the mindset is you have to let him be his own self out there and try to score the basketball. But at the same time, from a team standpoint, Melo hasn't exactly proven that wins basketball games. So I feel like if Melo can accept a bench role or accept an unlimited role and realize he needs to be like a 3rd or 4th option on a team, if he can accept that, but at the same time letting the coach allow him to play his style of game out there, given those circumstances, I still feel like he could be a nice player. So as far as like the first team that I think would be a decent fit for Carmelo Anthony, that is actually going to be the Boston Celtics. And the reason I say that is because of Brad Stevens. Because Brad Stevens, in my opinion, is a tier 1 coach. He's right up there with Greg Popovich. Some might argue he's even a better coach now, but I don't know, man. I still think they're, neck and neck as far as that race goes. But I was looking at the rotation of the Boston Celtics, and yeah, they have a lot of forwards on this team. Of course, Jason Tatum playing the 4 spot, Gordon at the 3 spot, but then you go to the bench unit, and Marcus can play small forward, but they don't actually have a small forward on their bench as of right now. So Melo could go right into that and, provide some scoring off the bench, man. And actually looking at their season stats over their team stats, the Boston Celtics are one of the worst scoring teams in the NBA. They are 25th in the NBA, which you wouldn't really expect that with all the talent they have out there. But even so, I feel like Melo could be a decent mentor towards Jason Tatum. They're both similar in size. And yeah, it's like maybe don't give them like your mental mentality, but maybe teach them just exactly how you were such a great scorer when you were around Jason Tatum's age. I don't know, man. I really do like this fit a lot. So I'm going to say the Boston Celtics would be a decent fit for a team that's currently 7-6 and maybe could use a little spark off their bench. For the next team, that is actually going to be the Miami Heat. And the reason I say that is because Melo kind of seems like there is no great fit for him, but that's exactly what the Heat is. It's a team kind of filled with misfits out there. You look at their rotation, it's just a whole bunch of different guys just tossing out there, man. You got like Hassan Whiteside, who is having actually a really good season out there, man. But like Justice Winslow playing power forward, Josh Richardson playing small forward. I would say maybe he's more of a shooting guard, but that's where they want him at. Tyler Johnson playing backup point guard. Then you got Wayne Ellington thrown in there. You got Bam, Kelly Olynyk, both centers out there, playing different positions. It's a team filled with misfits. Melo go to this team. Of course, you got the Dwayne Wade connection out there. Him just playing for Miami. I mean, yeah, it's kind of too late for that because we were hoping for that, back when LeBron James played for that team. That would be kind of fun to see. But, the Miami Heat right now are 5-8 on the NBA season, kind of looking like a mediocre Eastern Conference team. I feel like Melo just gives them a reason for fans to go to the game. And who knows, man, maybe Melo goes out there and fits in with all these guys and can be like a 15-point per game scorer out there. So I really like the fit of him going to the Miami Heat. Okay, for the next one I have out here, I'm actually going to say the Los Angeles Lakers. And the reason I say this is why the hell not, man? LeBron James is proven that veterans are the type of players he does want to play with. It just gives him something out there to work with, because since getting Tyson Chandler, we all thought Tyson Chandler was a washed up player, wasn't gonna bring much to this Laker team, but they were actually 3-0 since Tyson Chandler has played for them. So maybe you add Melo to this team, another guy that knows what it takes to win. Sure, it's not going to end in the NBA championship, but when you bring LeBron out there, you bring Carmelo Anthony, all of a sudden, Melo is with his one of his great friends in LeBron. His work ethic probably increases tremendously out there. Although that's not the same case with Chris Paul, but Chris Paul and LeBron James are two different personalities out there. I feel like Melo would be another great mentor for a guy like Kyle Kuzma, maybe even a Brandon Ingram. And I just feel like it would sell more tickets for Staples Center, although having LeBron James probably does that enough. give him a one-season contract, let him play out the season, see how he does out there with this team, and go from there. They're not winning the championship this season, so it's like, why not give it a chance, man? On a very small contract, you know, Melo's not going to be asking for no $10-20 million a season right now because he's getting paid by the Atlanta Hawks and now also the Houston Rockets. So I bet you they can sign him to a minimum, and it would just be an interesting dynamic to watch out there. I'm all for this right here, man. All right, my next one is actually returning to the team of the Denver Nuggets. Now, the reason I say this is looking at their rotation. Right now, they are running, they kind of switching up. It's been a mix between Torrey Craig and also Juan Hernan-Gomez at the small forward position. You know, both these guys are like decent players. Juan averaging, what, about 6-7 points per game, a few rebounds out there. Decent numbers. Not really shooting a ton out there, but 44% from three is nice. So he is making his threes he shoots. And then Torrey Craig, you know, those are not great numbers, man. 4 points per game, 16%. So he's looking like a guy that might need to actually go to the G League to develop it. You bring Melo to this team, you can either start him at small forward, or you can, you know, stick with Juan on the bench, and those guys can split minutes. Because the future small forward of this team is obviously going to be Michael Porter Jr. But by the time Michael Porter Jr. is healthy and his bag's good to go, you know, Melo is going to be like 35, 36 anyway. So it's going to be time for him to go. So I feel like that adds another scoring option to this team. Now, that being said, man, you got like Jokic out there, Jamal Murray. Those guys are both ball dominant in their own sense. That's like, you know, Jokic takes a lot of shots, but at the same time, he's a great playmaker. So, you want guys that you can put alongside Jokic that can like catch and shoot. And we know that didn't quite work with Carmelo Anthony over on like the Houston Rockets or OKC Thunder. So it would definitely take some tinkering to get this offense right out there. I just feel like this team has such a void at the small forward position with Michael Porter being injured that it would be a fun ending to the Carmelo Anthony saga. Like, and not to mention, man, they're 9-4. So I don't expect the Denver Nuggets to win the championships, but I've seen crazier things happen. So wouldn't that be an awesome story if Melo came back to this team, became like a 16-point per game scorer and helped them, you know, succeed out there? Because looking at their team stats on the season, I believe they're one of the better scoring teams in the NBA. They are, okay, 17, so they definitely got room for improvement out there. I mean, Melo, that's what Melo does. He scores the basketball. He's not going to help your defensive numbers out there, which the Nuggets are currently the 4th best defensive team. So that's a little scary, but I doubt they are the best defensive team because of Torrey Craig or Juan Hernan-Gomez out there. So he's not going to do any worse than those guys, if that makes sense. All right, the next team I have is actually my favorite team, the Detroit Pistons. And, you know, I was looking at the lineup. It just seems like a nice fit, man. Like, it would be cool for it to come like full circle, where the Pistons obviously passed on Melo in the 2003 draft for Darko Milicic, and, you know, Melo comes back here later in his career. But as far as my Pistons go, I'm like, what do they got to lose? Dwayne Casey, coach of the year. So it's like, he's a great coach. He's going to know how to work Melo into the system. Look what he's done for Blake Griffin's career. Blake Griffin is having, you might even argue saying his best NBA career ever, guys. Like his best NBA season ever as of right now. So you put Melo at the small forward position. The way this team runs their offense, like, they don't run the offense through the point guard. So it would totally work out where at times, you know, Blake Griffin is bringing the ball up the court. At times, Melo can do his thing out there, and Blake Griffin can run off that, maybe some pick and pops out there. Drummond kind of takes it on top of the key sometimes and dishes it out. So I don't know, man. I just like the idea of Melo on this team. It makes sense to me personally. I'm not just saying that as a biased Pistons fan. It's not like I'm saying, oh, we need LeBron James. But you look at their small forwards. Glenn Robinson, this NBA season, 6 points. Those are role player numbers, if anything. Stanley Johnson, yeah, he had like one good game a few games ago, but that's whatever, bro. I like the idea. It brings a veteran to the locker room, especially at a cheap price. Like I said, Melo's not asking for a ton of money. So Melo, Blake Griffin, Andre Drummond, is it going to win the Eastern Conference? No. Is it going to sell tickets? I'd go to one of those games for damn sure, man. And I've had a lot of fun watching it too. So I like that. I got 2 more teams to go. So next up, and I was kind of on the edge with saying the Brooklyn Nets. I didn't have any great reasoning besides Caris LeVert going down with injury. Thankfully, man, Caris LeVert is supposed to be back this NBA season. I guess he just had a dislocated ankle. It looked a lot worse than that, though, when his injury. I watched that game live. But no, man, the San Antonio Spurs, who are currently 7-5 on the NBA season. Right now, they have Rudy Gay at the small forward position. The bench unit, it's like, you know, it's whatever. It's some decent players on there, but in this case, I would probably say Melo would need to take a bench role. Rudy Gay this season, 13 points, 8 rebounds, shooting amazing field goal percentage, 52% from 3 on the NBA season. So that's not really a guy you want to take on the lineup. He's been nice in the starting 5 rotation. Of course, DeJounte Murray's not there in real life, but this is the NBA 2K19. But realistically, guys, the reason I say this yet again is because of Greg Popovich. Like, Greg Popovich is going to be able to get the most out of his NBA players. Unfortunately, his, you know, system is defense, which Melo does not play. But if anybody in the NBA was to get Melo to play some defense, it would be Greg Popovich. And yeah, man, I like the idea of it. He's a great coach, one of the best of all time, and him and Melo would be a lot of fun to watch. And then finally, this is a very easy one. This is kind of the cheap way out for any NBA player that's never gotten a ring, and that is obviously going to be the Golden State Warriors. Yes, man, I personally don't want to see this happen, but I could understand Melo being pissed off at the world and just being like, okay, everybody's hating on me. I'm going to go to the Warriors, win myself a ring, then retire, call it quits. Because I'm envisioning this. I'm envisioning Game 7 of the NBA Finals. No, man, we all know Warriors in 4, man. Game 4 of the NBA Finals, Melo comes into the game and just drops 50 points, and it's just all great, and he goes off and gets Finals MVP just like Andre Iguodala did. And I'm not saying Melo is going to have the same impact as Andre Iguodala. Melo, I believe, is actually the same age, so it's like, as far as they go, you know, it's same song and dance, right? But looking back at, you know, Andre Iguodala's early days of the Golden State Warriors, I believe, yeah, was this the year, yeah, 2013, 2014, where he won Finals MVP. I don't expect Melo to get that, but it would be really cool to watch, man. So I'm hoping the best for Melo. I know personally he's been one of my favorite players all time to watch. I hate how much hate he gets in the NBA. I mean, I do understand it because, like, you know, this is his third, I guess if you want to count the Atlanta Hawks, his best, you know, this is his best team ever. This is his third team in the NBA, and he's always been a great scorer. He's always kind of been like the Allen Iverson of small forwards, where he's taken a lot of shots to get his numbers out there. Field goal percentage has never been great, which does not result in winning, unfortunately, in the NBA. But a lot of people like to hate on Carmelo Anthony. I think he's still a great player. I still think he has a place in the NBA. I think there's some players out there that he definitely is a lot better than, that get the playing time that Carmelo Anthony doesn't get. Plain simple, let Melo do his thing, but keep it in check. Don't let him think he's a first option, but also don't let him think he's just some basic bitch role player, because he's not, man. He's Carmelo Anthony. He deserves to be at least a, you know, 6th or 7th man off the bench, and deserves his shots out there, not forced to take 3-point shots. No need to look at the bench when he makes a mid-range shot and the coach is like, oh, well, we don't do that over here, man, despite Chris Paul and James Harden having their own struggles. Anyway, that's the end of my rant. Guys, let me know in the comment section below. What do you think about Carmelo Anthony? I know people want to hate on him. That's fine. I understand it. I totally get it. That's what we do as NBA fans, right? We hate on players and we love players. But thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to drop that like, subscribe if you are new to my channel, and peace out, my friends.